Chapter 8. The Escape. Sounds of thumping and smacking against the stone barricade echoed through the cave chamber. The tribe, around 10 of them, stood ready, armed with weapons fashioned from sharpened wood, bone, or whatever scraps they had managed to get their claws on. A few at the front held chiseled stone shields, bracing themselves for the oncoming attack. Obi watched from behind the caged bars, panic rising in his chest. Helpless, trapped. X, however, constantly scanned his surroundings for an escape. The cages weren't the strongest, resources here were limited, so maybe, just maybe, he could force his way out. Meanwhile, Rocco sat in the distance, tied and trapped but not idle. He wriggled his hand, flexing his fingers, testing the restraints, just enough to maybe, yes, reach his claws around. Twisting, pushing, he managed to squeeze a claw free. He bent it backward, carefully positioning the sharp edge against the rope, then began to saw away, his movements slow but determined. All he needed was time. Suddenly, the sounds of the attempted breakthrough stopped.
I think they are up to something.
Brocker braces himself, holding still, listening out for any sights of those foul creatures.
Maybe they have given up,
Another one of the tribe suggests. Brocker holds up one finger.
Wait, that sound.
The room falls silent. Even Rocco stops in his attempts to escape as they all listen out in anticipation. A faint drip of dirt and stone falls down from above.
Look out!
Brocker calls out, barely seconds before the ceiling explodes through with a swarm of the monsters, bursting through, all equipped with a single sharp hooked claw at the end of their tentacles.
those bastards. They adapted again.
One of the tribe exclaims, moments before being sliced to pieces by one of the monsters. Panic floods the room as their once organized defense has been ruined by the change in the monsters' attack. The monsters dropping from above, all from different locations. Rocco's eyes widen, and he rapidly continues to cut away at his restraints. Meanwhile, one of the creatures flings its tendril towards Ober's direction, managing to aim through the bars and flail at him with a claw. Obi dives backwards, desperately trying to avoid contact. The creature recalls its tentacle, ready to make another strike. Once more, it shoots its tentacle forwards with precision, Obi only managing to dodge it at the last second.
Hang in there.
X gently calls over to Obi as he looks for a way out. Looking around his cage, he searches for anything that might help. In the corner, he spots a large, loose chunk of rock sticking out from the ground.
This might work.
He whispers to himself, a hint of doubt flowing through his voice. Without a second thought, X reaches over to the rock and carefully throws it through the bars at the creature attacking Obi. He lands the shot directly on the top of the creature, causing it to recoil its tentacle and turn its focus on X. A strange, gargling, squealing call sounds from the creature, and a few more crawl their way towards X.
Well, that didn't go as I planned.
He somehow calmly says to himself as he braces himself for the second part of his half-baked plan. The first creature, the one that had been harassing Obi, lashes out at X, its tentacles shooting towards him with terrifying speed. He dives to the side, narrowly avoiding the strike, his eyes locked on the writhing limb as it retracts. Before he can fully recover, a second tentacle whips toward him. He ducks at the last second, twisting his body mid-air as he leaps to the other side of the cage, this time seizing the first creature's tentacle in his grasp. Clutching the slimy tendril, X barely has a moment to react before a third creature lunges. He grits his teeth and swings himself towards the back of the cage, dodging its snapping limbs by inches. The other two creatures shriek and swipe at him, their hooked claws slicing through the air, some just grazing his skin. Each second that passes is another moment closer to a fatal mistake. No time to hesitate. X quickly wraps the captured tentacle around one of the cage's back bars and yanks hard. The creature lets out a guttural screech as its own strength works against it, yanking itself forward slightly. It thrashes, trying to retract its tentacle, but X holds fast, his grip tightening despite the fresh cuts stinging his arms. The creature panics, struggling harder, until finally it slams against the cage with a forceful clang. For a brief second, X sees the entire cage lift ever so slightly off the ground. His heart pounds. The longer he holds tightly, the more the creature panics and struggles, continuously bashing against the cage. Obi, observing from his cage, leans forward in suspense.
Is he actually going to do it?
He asks himself. The cage, battered and weakened. Surely a few more pulls and the creature will break the cage open. But just as X feels a glimpse of positivity, one of the other creatures makes a slice, straight into the first creature's tentacle, slicing it free.
Damn it!
X shouts out. Meanwhile, Rocco had just about finished cutting through his restraints and breaks free. The creatures and the tribe battling on around him, he quickly takes shelter behind some knocked-over furniture, peeking over the top. An internal battle.
Obi and X are still trapped. Someone should help them. But I could die. Probably best for all of us if I just find a way out. Yeah, that's it.
Rocco looks over to the other side from the barricaded doorway. Another open doorway.
That's gotta be the way out.
So Rocco runs over to the opening in the cave to make his escape. Obe spots Rocco running away.
That coward.
Then looks over to X to find him still battling to avoid the hits from the creatures.
I have to do something. Think Obi.
Just then, he notices the decapitated tentacle laying on the floor beside his cage. He lets out a short gasp as an idea enters his head. He quickly runs over and snatches it up. With confidence, he takes it over to the cage door and jigs it around in the poorly made keyhole.
Come on!
He cheers himself on, trying impatiently to open the door as he witnesses out of the corner of his eye X struggling in the cage next to him. Suddenly, click.
Bingo!
Obi shouts in relief. As he bursts out of the cage, without hesitation, he picks up a fallen weapon from one of the diseased tribesfolk and sprints directly for one of the monsters attacking X. Straight through the eye, Obi stabs the creature, sending it squirming to its death. Suddenly, from behind X, a voice calls him over.
Hey, X.
He turns around to find Rocco, tossing him over a key. X looks down at the key, then back up at Rocco.
Quick, let's get the hell out of here.
He hurries X. X grabs the key and turns. That last creature attacking him swings and flings at him. He just needs this one to stop long enough to unlock the door. Obi desperately attempts to get to the other creature to aid X, but more of the creature appear and drop down from the ceiling.
There's too many of them.
One of the tribe shouts out. We can't keep fighting, another says. Rocco removes his weapon from one of the creatures and kicks away another.
We can't give up. We've nowhere else to go.
Rocco overhears the conversation and whispers to himself.
They still don't know.
With a hefty smash, X kicks the cage door open. This grabs the attention of a few of the creatures. Brocca too catches a glimpse of X's escape alongside Obi, but chooses to ignore them.
We've got to help them!
Obi pleads to X. X, still feeling some sort of anger towards them, is unsure what to do.
Come on, let's get going. I think I know the way out of here.
Rocco whispers to Obi and X.
Forget about this lot. They wanted us dead.
He follows up. X, eager to go with Rocco, gives another look at Obi.
We can't just leave!
Obi tries to convince him. X, holding a grudge, frowns.
Forget them. We've got a bowman to find.
As he begins to make his way subtly towards Rocco. Obi, not feeling great about the decision, follows not far after. Just before leaving the cave chamber, Obi hears a loud yell.
Go!
He turns back around to see Brocca, laying on the floor injured, a creature approaching him. Obi stands, frozen in indecision.
I can't!
He yells to himself and runs back to Brocca, jumping over him and swinging at the creature. As he holds back the creature, Obi turns his neck and speaks to Brocca.
You need to take your people and get out of here!
Brocca hesitates.
Now!
Obi yells. Brocca nods, and gives the call to his tribe to retreat. A couple with swords and shields stand around, helping Obi hold back the monsters, while another few help Brocker to his feet. As they hobble over to the exit, another creature lands in front. Brocker and his guards' faces fill with horror and stumble backwards a few steps. This creature was slightly different. This one was bigger. It creeped forwards using its tentacles, raising one ready to attack. They catch their reflection in the creature's eye just before it strikes down to make its attack. Brocker and his guards duck and cower in fear. Out from the center of the eye, blood trickles down from a broken piece of wood, puncturing it. It falls down to the side to reveal X. Obi turns to witness the commotion behind. Catching sight of X, he cheers.
X, you came back!
Let's go.
X doesn't say much, just turns and heads back out. The rest of the tribe gather themselves and slowly back away out of the room, the outer few keeping the creatures at bay. One of the tribe members on the outer perimeter turns back to Brocker.
You go ahead. We'll stay and hold them back.
Brocker gives him a grateful nod, both knowing this could mean death. They swiftly turn away to leave, soon after hearing the echoes of screams follow them down the cave hallway. Obi's head sinks low as they run onwards.
They knew what they were doing. They did it so we could survive.
Brocker reassures Obi, knowing now that they might not be as bad as he first thought.
So how do we get back to the surface?
X interrupts.
The surface? What's the point of going out there? We're just as likely to die to those above.
Brocker questions X. Rocco's face stiffens, his eyes flicking away as guilt settles in. He needs to tell Brocker the truth. Rocco begins to speak, Brocker staring at him with intrigue.
The surface has been semi-safe for a while now. Those that you're scared about are no longer about. The only real threat is the Krull and the Bone Man.
Brocker stops running and stands still on the spot.
We've been struggling down here for nothing.
His left eye twitching slightly.
I mean, it's still no party up there, but...
Rocco is interrupted by Brocker raising his palm towards him.
I don't want to hear the loss we have had. We could have rebuilt our home, started up what we had lost because of you.
Brocker lectures Rocco. X and Obi, confused about the history of these two, anxiously press the two to continue.
I don't know what's happened between you, but we have to go.
X prompts. Obi supports.
Yeah, those things can't be too far behind.
Brocker gives Rocco a dirty look, filled with hate, and begrudgingly tells them which way they need to go.
The exit, it's right.
Brocker stops. Life exits his eyes as he drops to the floor, blood spilling from a mysterious hole in his chest. Everyone else steps away in panic, gasping and muttering.
What happened?
Obi asks the group. Suddenly, one of the creatures emerges on the ground, its tentacles swaying in front of it, slick with Brocker's blood.
No, that's impossible. There's no way it could...
Rocco stammers, retreating backward.
It's adapted to be able to cloak?
Obi points out. Suddenly, from behind the solitary creature that had just emerged, a swarm of other creatures became visible. The group, X, Obi, Rocco, and the few remaining members of Brocker's tribe, begin to step backward, cautiously. At first, they move slowly, but the moment one breaks into a run, the rest follow. At the same time, the creatures give chase. A desperate pursuit begins as the creatures scurry after the group, fading in and out of view, making them nearly impossible to track.
Are we actually heading to a way out?
Obi questions as they seemingly just run aimlessly forward. One of the tribe members replied,
There is an escape hatch this way. It was initially made for sending scouts out, but the ones we sent out never came back. So we stopped using it.
Racing through a network of cave tunnels, the chase continues. the creatures closing in uncomfortably fast.
Next turn on your left.
A tribe member shouts. Moments before reaching the turning, another member falls to the ground, shredding to pieces as a cloaked monster tears into them.
Wow, did you see that?
Rocco exclaimed, watching the massacre behind him. He gulps and continues to push forward. As they round the corner, they come face to face with a small rope ladder hanging from the cave ceiling. At the top, a makeshift metal hatch waits. Without hesitation, X leaps onto the ladder and begins to climb. A queue quickly forms as the others wait for their turn, shifting anxiously, unsure when the creatures might strike next. Next, one of the tribe members, the one who had shown them the way, climbs up the ladder. Obi starts to follow, but is suddenly intercepted by Rocco.
Sorry, pal.
He grumbles. Suddenly, a head flies past Obe's face, causing him to let out a startled yelp. The sound catches the attention of those already on the ladder.
What's happening?
As they all catch sight of the decapitated victim, panic quickly spreads. The ladder shakes violently, and Obi struggles to steady himself. Even once he grips the ladder, he can't secure his footing as it sways uncontrollably.
You all need to calm down!
Obi shouts as more of the tribe members attempt to push by. Meanwhile, at the top, X struggles to open the hatch. It's been closed for so long that it has rusted slightly, making it stiff and difficult to budge. The creatures make themselves visible, closing in on Obi and the remaining tribe members. They begin to pounce, slashing at one after another. Obi attempts to climb the ladder again, narrowly dodging a tentacle swipe that cuts through the air beside him.
Got it!
X shouts down to the group. The hatch swings open, a beam of light pouring through as they scramble to climb up. Below, a sea of blood churns as the remaining tribe members who were not able to reach the rope are sliced, stabbed, and mutilated in the chaos. X escapes, making it out of the hatch. The others continue to climb. The creatures start to climb the rope behind the rest of the group. At the end of the line was one last tribe member. One of the creatures manages to tie a tentacle around their leg, squeezing it with great force. Obe looks down. He knows he has to do something, or they are a goner for sure. No, don't, the tribe member says as Obi attempts to reach down to aid them. It's too late. They inform Obi between clenched teeth. The tribe member releases one hand and extends a claw. They look Obi in the eyes and smile.
No!
Obe shouts as the tribe member continues to slice the rope with his razor-sharp claw, causing him and the rest of the ladder, along with the creatures, fall back down to the ground. Thanks to their sacrifice, the rest of the group managed to get away from the creatures. Obi, the last one to get out, looks down into the cave. The sound, eerily quiet. X pushes Obe out the way to reclose the hatch. On the surface, X, Rocco, Obi, and two of the remaining tribe members stand, breathing heavily. Rocco collapses onto the ground, resting against the floor.
We made it! Wow, I don't think I've run so much in, well, ever.
He jokes, his tone strikingly at odds with the grim situation. X catches Obi, still looking concerned and distracted.
What is it?
He asks Obi. To which he replies,
I don't know. Something doesn't feel right.
The two remaining tribe members hug each other and reassure Obi of their safety. What do you mean? We're safe now. We did it. The two begin to celebrate their escape. Obi leans towards Rocco and comments to him.
They don't seem so upset about the loss of their friends.
Rocco chuckles.
That's the Crestian way.
Crestian?
Obi questions.
Oh yeah, that's what we are. We are all, I guess, selfish in a way. We mostly think about ourselves. They are just happy they made it.
Rocco explains. Out of nowhere, the cave hatch bursts open. Shooting out of it are a swarm of those creatures.
What? How?
Rocco shouts out.
They have wings?
Obi points out as he notices that once again, the creatures have adapted to their advantage. two of them swoop down, making a fatal strike on the last two Christians. Another heads towards Rocco. He manages to roll out the way, avoiding the attack. X and Obi step back, bracing themselves as they observe the swarm circling them from above.